So I'm gonna get straight into this video. This video is okay. Just a short warning here. This video is going to be a very long yap session about the current state of anime Vanguards. This is going to be about 8 minutes long, and I'm just gonna talk about yap, complain, maybe whine a little bit about the state of anime Vanguards, how there's barely been any communication, there's been no sneaks for update 9.5. I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm just gonna get straight into this one. I'm not even gonna bother editing this one too much. So before I start though, I just want you guys to know that I will be posting different types of content moving forward, and I'll also kind of explain why I've only been posting AV on this channel. And also, I want you guys to know that my other channel, the AB's Gaming channel, will have more gameplay stuff content. That's the plan. We'll have gameplay type stuff. I have one that's currently being edited, just haven't finished it yet in time. But there is one that I'm editing there for testing purposes, just to post a video there. And then also, this one's just gonna have the guides, the usual content that you guys usually see. So subscribe to both channels for lots of content on different anime games and different tower defense games. Let's get started. So during the beginning of this year, I made a promise, not really a promise to myself, but I am very committed to the YouTube game. I've always been posting daily, even when there's nothing to do. This is what I've been doing, even on my other channel, the AB's Gaming channel. And the reason why I post daily is because it's more of a commitment to myself, and that's really what I've been doing the most. And I have been covering sneaks. I've been covering sneaks. I've been covering any news that I could possibly can. I've been doing this for Bloxfoots on the main channel, but I've also been doing it for Anime Vanguards. And one thing that I noticed is how during the first couple of months, of this year, basically from January all the way to somewhere around April, I was able to make videos on the sneaks pretty consistently. And I think somewhere around update 8.5 all the way to around 9.5, it started to reduce significantly. Actually, anything past update 5.5, the videos on the sneak started to be reduced significantly. And I believe this is because they actually started reducing the amount of sneaks that they're also doing. So I want you guys to take a look right here on how spoiled we were back then. And it actually makes me sad going back to these old images right here. Alright, so I want you guys to know that this is right here, the beginning of the Anime Vanguards post Unjavius era, or the post old dev team era. Basically, this is when Anime Vanguards really started getting good. Anything past 2024, so basically anything starting 2025, you'll see right here. Let's actually talk about it. Okay, January 14, they showed us a bunch of units, how many units we were going to have. January 17, they showed us a sneak. January 18, they showed us a sneak. I think around January 19, that was when the update released. January 23, they immediately showed us a sneak again about the next update. January 27, only 4 days later, they already showed us another sneak. And then a day after that, another sneak again. A day after that, another sneak. And then only about 2 days after that, actually no, not even 2 days, a day after that, we got a trailer. Absolutely insane. And then only after a few hours, we got a passive sneak right here. And then after that, we also got a bunch of sneak peeks on the elements, I believe, the elemental reactions right here. And this was actually something that I recommended on stage as well. So you could see right here that in the span of only about a couple of weeks, we have gotten more sneaks in this couple of weeks than we have gotten for the past 2 updates combined, right? I think than we have gotten for the past 3 updates combined. That is how much they used to sneak in the span of like only a couple, weeks. So, sorry, only about a couple of days, actually. Yeah. So, sneak here, sneak there, sneak there, sneak there, sneak there again. So, I think this is only about 2 weeks. And in the span of, again, 2 weeks, 1 week and a half, something like that, we were able to get this much sneaks, which is absolutely crazy. We were absolutely spoiled back then. They were communicating way better back then than they are now. So if you go right now, I don't think I need to talk about update 9 and what's currently happening with update 9. Well, with update 9, the last actual sneak was literally almost a month ago. The last actual sneak was the Hollow sneak, the Hollow Knight sneak, right? Which was this one right here. This was given by Fisef, right? This was the last actual sneak. And if you also go take a look right here on the sneaks themselves, you can see that they're not as often as before. You can see right here that we got a sneak on November 19, and then the next sneak we get after that was this one right here. November 21, which is not as significant as the sneak that we were being given back then. And then after that, a whole couple of days for the sneak right here, which is very, very vague as well. And then after that, we did get a sneak peek here as well. But you can see how the sneaks kind of dropped both in quality, in terms of how significant the sneak is and how much they were telling us, and also in consistency, right? They're not as consistent anymore with these sneak peeks, and especially for update 9.5. This is where the problem has just gotten a lot worse. With update 9.5, most of the communications that we have gotten not through the official sub announcements, not through the official announcements, or not even through the official sneaks. Most of them I personally got from CC Chat in my conversation with Volk, which is the main planner of the game. And a lot of the actual information or communication that Volk did was through the suggestions tab or the suggestions thread, where there are people who are asking him questions and he's responding to them, which is actually nice that he is at least communicating with the community in those small sections. But again, the thread in which he responded to is probably only being seen by 100 people max. There's 1,000, tens of thousands of players that are waiting on Anime Vanguards to do something, and Anime Vanguards has not said anything. It has been almost complete radio silent for Anime Vanguards for update 9.5 for somewhere around 3-4 weeks already. Just to put that into perspective, Anime Vanguards back then used to take 3 to 4 weeks to update. Anime Vanguards update 9.5 has not given us a single sneak or a single communication about this update in the past 3 to 4 weeks, right? So let me give you guys an insight on what's actually happening here, because again, they didn't really communicate it with us. So again, this was the one that was talked about in stage. No stage, lots of issues with what we were trying to do quality-wise. Def backfired and is taking way longer than expected. And then this is what happens when you try something new. Then the next one after that, we tried upping the quality massively because we had insane budget and all that. But trying new stuff comes with the risk, and this one didn't pay off. So not only did he announce the fact that there's probably going to be no stage in a suggestion thread or whatever or wherever this was, he also announced right here the only communication we have about update 9.5. This is absolutely wild. The fact that this happened here and not in the actual Discord. It's kind of crazy. So here's what I'm gonna say. I honestly don't really mind Anime Vanguards taking 4 weeks to update. Obviously, I have a little bit of an issue if it's 6 weeks. I can't really do anything about it though if it takes 6 weeks for them to update, and if they want to increase the quality, that's fine. But at least, right, I think one of the things that you could do if it's going to take you that long to release an update is to communicate. Say the reasons why it's taking so long, right? Be transparent with your community. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be mad if you say reasons or why this update is going to take so long. I know that a lot of people are going to cry about it on general chat, whining about the fact that, oh, this update takes so long, this sucks, Anime Vanguards is delay guards or something like that. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be mad like that, but you still have to be transparent, because even though there's going to be people that are going to be mad initially, there's going to be less people mad in the long run, because at least you had the courage to be transparent with your community and say what's happening. Because I feel like we would all rather have, I think I speak for everybody when I say that we would all rather have the developers communicate with us and, tell us the truth, no matter how bad it is, than for us to wait 4 weeks of complete nothingness. I love Anime Vanguard more than the next guy. Like I said, the only reason why I make Anime Vanguard's videos is because I cannot stomach any other tower defense game. As a matter of fact, I cannot stomach any other Roblox game. Sometimes I make videos on Anime Last Stand, but that's only because the videos that I make on Anime Last Stand, it's when I actually kind of want the updates that they released. So I make videos on ALS when I like their updates, but 90% of the time I don't like it. I make videos on ASTDX a while ago on July, but that was because I kind of liked ASTDX, especially ASTD during its peak. And that's why I made videos on it. But 99% of the time, I hate all these other tower defense games, and nothing ever really comes close to AV, and that's why I only make AV videos, because it's the only one that I want to play. It's the only one that I really, really want to do. I don't want to experiment with games that I don't find fun and that I don't like. AV is the only game that I actually like, and it's the only one that I actually want to cover, so I love it so much. But this is just absolutely sad. Now, I am going to talk about other tower defense games. There is one that's going to be releasing soon, Universal Tower Defense. I will now try and play other tower defense games, not because I'm leaving AV, but because I'm genuinely getting bored with Anime Vanguards. There's literally nothing left to do in Anime Vanguards. I could trade, right? I could trade my units, trade up my units and all that stuff. I could do that all day long, but it's going to get boring, right? Especially when the developers are not saying anything about what's happening, not sneaking anything about what's happening. It's going to get boring. And that's actually one of the other good things about sneaking. When every time that these developers show something, it builds up hype. Let's say, for example, the developers show us a sneak peek of a potential unit, and then I know it may not be a big sneak, because recently Anime Vanguard has been relying so much on these big sneaks. They don't do the small sneaks anymore. They just rely on the big sneaks, which is fine if it doesn't take you 4 weeks to release that single big sneak. I feel like they should have anticipated that if this single big sneak that they wanted to do for 9.5 was going to take this long, they should have probably started communicating and releasing lesser sneaks in order to satisfy the community. And the thing that I'm saying, my original point was that every time they released sneaks, it builds up hype inside of most players that encourages players to start playing again and start preparing for that update. If, let's say, for example, they announce or they sneak that the next Vanguard unit is going to be Garu, for example, I can assure you that most One Punch Man Glazers are going to start coming back to Anime Vanguards to start preparing for that next update. Even, let's say, for example, there are players that mainly play ALS. If they see that Anime Vanguard announce a Garu Godly, for example, they might start coming back to Anime Vanguards to start prepare for that update. And that would 100% be better than, releasing a big sneak 2 days before the update and just being completely radio silent. I think Anime Vanguards, the fact that they're taking way longer to update now. For the past 2 updates, it took them 6 weeks minimum. I think 9 took 6 weeks, which was kind of understandable. 9.5 is taking 7 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. 9.5 is a lot worse because it's also only 8.5 and it's not anniversary size. But also 9.5 is a lot worse because they also didn't communicate with us at all during 9.5. So hopefully during update 10, they start communicating more. I don't really mind as much if it's going to take 5 weeks, as long as we know why it's taking 5 weeks, right? As long as we know as much as we can know, and as long as they're consistently feeding us with sneaks, consistently, feeding the community that's waiting on them to actually release something, I actually don't mind the wait as much, because releasing these smaller sneaks or these sneaks that build hype is sometimes actually enough to stave off our boredom. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but anything at this case and at this point in time, anything is better than nothing. Now, I will say though that it might be a little bit too late to release a small sneak because we've already waited for so long. So a small sneak that's gonna be released right now will just make people mad. I think the best thing that they can do right now is make an announcement, right? If any of the developers are watching this video, I hope you guys actually just do an announcement, say what's going on, tell us what's happening, tell us truly why things are going the way they are and why it's taking so long. Maybe don't sneak anything yet if nothing's ready yet. And then after that announcement, maybe after a couple of days when something's finally ready, do a sneak peek. But I believe that right now, the Anime Vanguards community, tens of thousands of players, if not hundreds of thousands of players that are waiting, deserve something. I think we deserve to hear something from the devs, more than just the ones that we get in suggestions. And I think we definitely deserve something. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys agreed with me. And this was a pretty long yap video, and I'm not gonna edit it. I'm gonna leave most of it here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. I actually want to make it a little bit longer, but I think I might just make a part 2 if ever.